The rain fell in sheets across the landing bay of the Celestial Mandate, drumming against the titanium hull with a rhythm that spoke of distant storms. John sat on an overturned fuel canister, his maintenance coveralls soaked through, methodically spooning reconstituted protein paste from a dented tin. The cold rain mixed with the bland meal, but he didn't move to shelter. He never did anymore. "Mechanic Wells!" The voice resonated through the bay, each syllable carrying the weight of ancient authority. "Why do you consume nourishment in such conditions?" John didn't look up. He knew that voice. Everyone in the Galactic Concordat knew that voice. Empress Elsa Carthax, Supreme Commander of the Draconid Imperium, ruler of 47 star systems, and the reason humanity still drew breath in a galaxy that had tried to exterminate them. The massive dragon lowered her head into view, scales of iridescent purple and gold, catching what little light penetrated the storm clouds. Her eyes, each the size of John's torso, studied him with an intelligence that had orchestrated the salvation of Earth 3 years prior. "Your Majesty," John said quietly, taking another spoonful. The mess hall was crowded. It was a lie. They both knew it. Elsa's massive form shifted, her wings tucking closer to her body as she settled onto the deck with surprising grace for a creature that massed over 200 tons. "In the 14 months you have served aboard my flagship, you have declined 17 invitations to officer gatherings, avoided 12 diplomatic functions, and consumed 63% of your meals in solitude." John finally looked up, rain streaming down his face. "You've been counting?" "I count everything, Mechanic Wells. It is how empires are maintained." Her massive head tilted, one golden eye fixing him with unsettling focus. "But I do not understand this particular calculation. Explain why Earth's finest technician chooses isolation over companionship." The question hung in the air between them, heavy as the rain. John set down his tin, his hands trembling slightly. Not from cold, from something deeper. "Do you know what they call me back home, Your Majesty? The humans who remained on Earth? I do not concern myself with the opinions of a sellout." John's voice was quiet but edged with pain. "A traitor, a species betrayer who abandoned humanity to serve alien overlords." Elsa's eyes narrowed, a low rumble building in her throat. "I have enslaved no one. The treaty guarantees—" "I know what the treaty says." John stood abruptly, his voice rising. "I helped write the technical amendments, remember? Humans serve voluntarily in Concordat forces. We receive full rights, full pay, full citizenship. On paper, we're equals." "Then what troubles you?" John laughed, but there was no humor in it. 3 years ago, the Vexthor Collective decided humanity was a threat. In 6 days, they glassed 32% of Earth's surface, 2 billion dead. Our fleet was gone. Our defenses were nothing. We were hours from extinction when you arrived. The Empress was silent, but her gaze never wavered. "You came with your armada," John continued, his voice breaking. "You went to war with the Vexthor, started a conflict that's still raging, all to save a species you'd never even met. You declared Earth a protectorate, rebuilt our cities, shared your technology, and asked only that we contribute to the Concordat. You gave us everything. This displeases you?" Elsa's confusion was genuine. "No." John's shoulders sagged. "It breaks me, don't you see? We owe you a debt we can never repay. Every human who serves in your forces, every child who grows up learning Draconid history alongside their own, every building reconstructed with your materials, it's all charity. We're not allies, Your Majesty. We're refugees you took pity on." The rain continued to fall as silence stretched between them. When Elsa finally spoke, her voice was softer than John had ever heard it. "Come with me." She rose and walked toward the bay's edge, where the storm raged beyond the atmospheric shield. John followed, uncertain. The Empress stared out at the tempest, and when she spoke, there was something raw in her ancient voice. 1,600 years ago, my world burned. The krill swarm consumed my civilization in a war we could not win. We fled to the stars as refugees, 3 million survivors from a species of 9 billion. Do you know who saved us, Mechanic Wells? John shook his head. The Kytharan Collective, a species that owed us nothing. They fought the swarm. They lost ships. They lost lives. They gave us sanctuary, technology, purpose. Elsa's massive head turned toward him. We too believed we could never repay such a debt. We too felt the shame of survival bought with another's sacrifice. What changed? John whispered. We learned the truth. There is no debt between those who choose to stand together. The Kytharan did not save us for gratitude or servitude. They saved us because extinction of any sapient species diminishes the galaxy, because mercy is not weakness, because today's refugees become tomorrow's allies, if they are given the chance to stand as equals rather than supplicants. Elsa lowered her head until her eye was level with John's face. You are not my charity project, Mechanic Wells. Your species possesses remarkable adaptability, creativity, and resilience. In 3 years, human engineers have improved 17% of our ship designs. Human tacticians have contributed strategies that saved thousands of draconid lives. Human physicians have developed treatments for diseases that plagued us for centuries. But we still needed saving, as did I once, as will others tomorrow, and the day after. The Empress's voice carried absolute certainty. The measure of civilization is not whether one stumbles, but whether others help them stand, and whether, once standing, they in turn extend their hands to the next who falls. You wish to repay a debt? Then stand with us as equals. Fight with us. Build with us. And when the day comes that another species faces extinction, be among those who answer the call. John stared at the ancient dragon, feeling something shift inside his chest. The weight he'd carried for 3 years, the shame, the inadequacy, the crushing debt, it didn't disappear. But for the first time, he saw it differently. Not as chains, but as connection. Not as obligation, but as purpose. The rain's letting up, Elsa observed, a hint of something almost playful in her tone. And I believe the mess hall is cleared. You will join me for a proper meal, Mechanic Wells. That is not a request. John found himself smiling, genuinely smiling, for the first time in months. Yes, Your Majesty. As they walked together through the bay, the human and the dragon, John realized what he'd discovered in the rain. He'd been seeking a way to repay an impossible debt, when what he truly needed was to accept an irreplaceable gift. The chance to matter again, not as a debtor, but as a partner in something larger than himself. The galaxy was vast and full of species who would fall, but humanity, scarred, saved, and standing, would be there when they did. That was how debts between civilizations were truly paid. Not with servitude, but with service. Not with shame, but with strength shared freely, as it had been shared with them. And in that moment, walking beside an empress who had once been a refugee herself, John Wells finally came home. The end.